Hello everyone, I am super excited for this amazing and colorful exhibition of just a portion of my antique and vintage art glass collection. Yes, it has also been an affection in jewelry. I've loved glass and rhinestone and costume jewelry for the same amount of time, over 30 years in this resale and collecting world, and I couldn't be happier to share some of the pieces today. So we have from authentic Louis Comfort Tiffany art glass Favril into Charles Loughton, LOETZ art glass, EICKHOLT, Drew Smith. The list rolls on. I think I forgot a few pieces inside the house that I wanted to talk about, but this is just a very small portion of the entire art glass collection, so I appreciate you joining in today. Thank you so much. And for my jewelry lovers, don't move a muscle, because tomorrow I'm going to be bringing in this diamond and 14 karat gold brooch that I just bought at the Hartville flea market. Look at that for solid 14 karat gold and transitional cut diamonds in that modern form, and oh, the dazzle and sparkle of diamonds. Just like any other gemstone, I've never left them out of my collection. And thank you so much to my friend Lisa. Lisa, thank you for the note and the amazing, amazing Victorian agate, beautiful Scottish agate brooch. Absolutely gorgeous, sterling silver, circa dating on these 1860, 1870, and look at how carefully those gemstones are cut and put into that amazing Victorian brooch. So Lisa, thank you for the lovely note and for the amazing brooch. And to the lovers of luxury, I won't forget you, another amazing and authentic Cartier 18 karat gold band ring. I bought one of these at the pawn shop several months ago, sold it right away, and I have another one that I just found at the local pawn shop again. Absolutely gorgeous, authentic Cartier, wonderful 18 karat gold band ring. So stay tuned for a video on those pieces, and then a few more jewelry pieces, but I'm really here just to show you the art glass. I guess I'll move from left to right just because it'd be easiest. And again, we are outside, and this isn't the perfect lighting situation for this, but where I was videoing, I had this beautiful kind of lacy leaf maple in the background and some beautiful ivy climbing up on the back of a building. And sure enough, the mosquitoes were absolutely after me. So I guess it is true, I'm made out of pure sugar. And if you believe that, tune into some of my other videos and you'll see me at my worst. This is Louis Comfort Tiffany, and these are little liqueur glasses. If I was back in my 20s, I would say liquor, like the liquor store. Look at this for the LCT mark. Let me see where this one's signed. And it's very, very, very faint. You'll see a capital L, capital C, and capital T. I hope it's picking up on the video for you, but that is Louis Comfort Tiffany, and this is considered Favril. I think the pattern is Flemish, but again, I'm not an expert in art glass, but I most certainly know enough to get into a lot of trouble. But this is definitely Favril, what Tiffany was very well known for. And check out that luster. Let's look at all three of them, because I got lucky enough to acquire 3 of them, and they're in wonderful condition. Always watch this threading. The technique on this is wound glass around the molten glass, so it's threading, and I'm sure a glassmith could definitely tell you technically better, but that threading is actually around the outside of that molten glass. And look how that kind of sexy and sensual form, it's kind of tapered on the inside and then flares on the outside and the foot. And because I love to balance things in my hands, could you imagine if I juggled these? Oh, look at that bottom on this one. And I guess I'm very glad that the sun is helping me out today, because, I had a couple weird days again. Don't we all? I know I'm not alone in that, but these are all Louis Comfort Tiffany art glass, and these are original to the turn of the last century. Circa dating on these is always around 1900, 1910. Again, there are other quote experts out there that know a whole bunch more than me, but I've been doing this for 30 years, and my exposure to Louis Comfort Tiffany glass has been quite extreme. I just sold recently a gorgeous paperweight great vase that at the last auction facility, we sold an amazing, very, very expensive Tiffany art glass. So we'll set these out of the way just for now. And then we'll take a look at the larger LCT. From the same collection, these are definitely Louis Comfort Tiffany. And they are signed, let's see, this one is signed. Let me show you, and you got to look very close. And I think that's why I do these videos, is to show you that a lot of times the signature on these is very difficult to find. Here we go. And I could just barely see it in the light. So if you catch it right on the right edge right here, I should say on the correct edge right there, and ignore the manicure today. Boy, it's terrible. But you'll see a little capital L, capital C, capital T, periods in between. That's Louis Comfort Tiffany. Check out that luster of this. Now, this little tumbler does have a broken lily pad. Oh, my bags are flying away. Wait one sec. I never thought I'd have to say that on the video. My bags are flying away. I have these stored in these bubble bags. Anyways, this one is broken. It always has been, according to when I bought it. Look at the luster of this. Absolutely incredible for Tiffany glass. And again, sheared and polished bottom. So that's where the pontil would have been, and they sheared and polished that whole edge. Look at the quality and the luster of that glass. Is it not the most beautiful thing? And then I transitioned to this into a gorgeous Alice CAVINESS necklace in opalescent glass. And I've yet to see this out in the daylight. I've always worn this very late at night. And this is all opal glass. And check out those rhinestones, drop earrings, gorgeous, gorgeous opalescent bib necklace, fully signed Alice CAVINESS on the back. And boy, the movement on this, look at that in the light. Boy, opal glass is some of my favorite. I really have always loved it. It's been a 30-year love affair with decorative arts and jewelry. And I'll tell you, it has been a gorgeous and a full 30 years of collecting and reselling. Again, I've sold on eBay since I think it was I always blank out. I think it's 1996 or 1997. And still 100% positive feedback. Tell me how many sellers out there have 100% positive feedback. Yeah, I've had my problems, you know. We all have. Line up, you know, thousands and thousands and thousands of strangers and tell me how many people you're going to instantly have an issue with, even if you don't sell to them. And it is okay to say that, because I've said, if I'm not your speed, if I'm not your jam, it's okay to move on. You know, don't take up the space that somebody else deserves. And there's other people that say, you can't say that. I said I just did. It's just that easy. There's no judgment in that. It's just a simple fact of life. You know, if you don't agree or you don't like it, just go somewhere else. You know, you don't have to announce your departure because, again, I've often said you're not important enough. And that's only for the haters out there, you know, because it's real. You know, it's totally real. Look at that Larry Verba. But I think if you gave me a chance and you met me in real life, to the people that don't like me, I think you would probably still fall in love with me, because I would love you back even if you judged me. I really still would. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This is Larry Verba, and look at those poured glass leaves. I got distracted by jewelry. I got to go right back. I got to go right back into the glass, what we're here for. LOETZ. So this is LOETZ art glass, and check out the surface on this one, and that is applied sterling silver in that ginkgo leaf pattern. Look at this. I want to show you again. 360. You'll have other people that will content create, and they just point at a screen of ended listings and go, this is a great sale for whatever, and this is whatever. It's like, no, I just want to show you these pieces 360 so you can see the detail of what to look for. Oh, and there's a ton of reproduction of Tiffany glass out there in the world. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. And there's a lot of fake signatures, meaning someone years and years and years ago could have put an LCT on the bottom of this. And as advanced collectors and historians, we would know that this is LOETZ with a fake Tiffany signature. It's not a good idea. Also, Steuben glass is frequently marked LCT or Tiffany. And that is a problem, because Steuben is collectible on its own right. Do you, in the comment section, if you would leave me one, do you want to see my collection of antique cameo glass? I could take you into a whole world of cameo glass and beautiful turn-of-the-century glass vessels. So this is only a very small portion of my collection. So let me show you. This is another Tiffany. This is another, this is a drinking vessel. Like I said earlier, some people say this is a vase. This is definitely a drinking vessel. This is a glass or juice tumbler because of the form and because it fits in the hand. And you can see that this is a glass. If you want to use it as a cabinet vase, you can, but this is definitely a juice glass or a tumbler. That was its original function. This was never a vase. But then again, now I use them as vases in my house. So there is the bottom of this one. And look at the color, that electric blue on that lime green, and then has that Aurora Borealis finish. And the insides are just as beautiful as the outside. Doesn't that look like the iridized surface of a clamshell of Mother Nature, how man could mimic nature? It's just one of the most beautiful things. And that, again, is the, quote, lily pad application. Boy, is the sun baking me already. Let me show you a more contemporary piece that looks like antique glass. This is by Drew Smith. And look at that ruby red color of Drew Smith and that electric blue wash across the surface. And if you're seeing me in the background, yes, I'm seated, I'm relaxing, and I'm wearing a squash blossom necklace. So if you're seeing me, there's the Drew Smith signature. So if you see Smith glass, pick it up. Ground and finished Pontal. And 1976 on this one. So that is from 1976, 2 years after I was born. Look how beautiful it is. So please pick up Drew Smith glass and look at that deep ruby red. Red is one of the most difficult colors to achieve in glass. The King Tut swirl, as this is known, or Egyptian swirl. I've heard it called both. I like King Tut, actually. Check this out. And this is Robert EICKHOLT. And this is from 1997. So that is EICKHOLT 1997 sheared and polished bottom. Of EICKHOLT glass vases, I think I'm down to a healthy 12. And in paperweights, I'm up to an unhealthy 54. So I need to go through the collection and get some more sold. And you all know that I now sell on Bully Run Coffee on YouTube. So go on over, subscribe, and please check out that channel because we have great sales on Tuesday and occasionally now on Wednesday because I have so much to sell. This one, I forgot to talk values. I always forget to talk values. But let's go with the showpiece in the center. So I decided years ago that I wanted to invest in some LOETZ glass and I wanted to invest in some very important pieces of LOETZ. I almost said pizza. I am really hungry right now. This is LOETZ Titania. The Titania line, again, if you want me to do a whole video on LOETZ art glass, I can absolutely show you the good, better, and best of LOETZ glass. And there's another Titania right there with silver overlay. So this is considered Titania glass by LOETZ. That is a sterling silver encased surface, completely hand engraved. And look at the glass behind. It looks like a sunset on the summer with this fire spray or this fireworks spray of electric blue on that kind of peachy orange into a flaming yellow green, but it has electric blue, like an electric powder blue on the surface. I really hope the sun is helping me out and not flashing the color out too much. But check out the sterling silver work on this. How beautiful those kind of tulips and the whiplash lines of the Art Nouveau time period. That is completely silver that is applied to the surface. Technically, I will get into a video of how that is done. It is very, very difficult to do. I will be honest and tell you this vase cost me $5,800, and that's exactly what it cost me. I think there's one listed on eBay right now for around $10,000 or $11,000, so you can go on over and check me out. But this is a very rare vessel, extremely, extremely rare and in perfect condition. There is the bottom, so that is absolutely correct for Titania LOETZ. And do you see how that color is encased in clear glass? How that swirl is encased in clear? There's a very small amount of clear that encases all of that color. I absolutely love this vase. I've shown it on my channel one other time. I have taken it to local presentations, and look at the monumental size of that for LOETZ Titania. It is one of the best I've ever seen. A more common version that you can easily find, or more easily or readily find, is the smaller version, and it's this one. It is this tiny little baby, but look at the electric lime green into that really deep cobalt blue. Check that out. The way that blue is so electric on the inside. And look at the way that surface is formed. Boy, is it getting hot out here. I love the Art Nouveau pattern of that silver, that sterling silver encased surface, and you can really feel the silver on this one. Be careful on the quality of the silver work. You want something that is this beautiful. And look at the four-lobed design. This one, I think it cost me $300. I wouldn't sell that for less than $1,200. And I probably wouldn't even sell it for that now because I wouldn't be able to replace it. But are you seeing the color of lime green that's in there? Doesn't that look like the most beautiful pattern of glass you've ever seen? For art glass, I love these pieces. And again, there's the pontil sheared down and polished, and completely sheared and polished foot as well. Absolutely one of the most beautiful pieces of glass. I really, truly love it. Let me do... Oh, what should be next? Let me do this. This is Drew Smith. Let me scoot this LOETZ right there. Oh, the color of that. This is Drew Smith as well. Very unusual for Drew Smith. And this was signed Smith. And it's from, let's see here. Give me a minute. Let me see if this is... I'm having trouble reading it. I think it's 1969, I believe. That is Drew Smith glass. That is just incredible. There's a butterfly. Did you see that? I don't know if you saw that, but there's an electric black and blue butterfly. I don't know what kind of butterfly that was. Holy cow. I don't know if you saw that on camera. I hope you did. Holy cow. Why am I yelling into this face? Did you hear me? I was like yodeling into the mouth of this. Yodel-hee-hoo. I don't know. Sometimes that happens in my videos. I get derailed very easy. But that is Drew Smith. And do you see how this mimics the Art Nouveau time period, but done much, much later? But see my affection for true antique and then antique-inspired glass? All right, we're going to go over here. I wish that butterfly would come back. What I'm grateful for is I'm not getting attacked by mosquitoes anymore. I was getting eaten alive by mosquitoes. This is LOETZ, and I'm not going to comment on the color. I'm just going to say it's one of the most gorgeous tulip or flower form vases I've seen. Goes from that very pale celery green into that iridescent deep purple fuchsia. Doesn't that look like the most beautiful flower frozen in time? And the naturalistic forms of Art Nouveau glass is something that I've just been so driven by in my collection. And do you see how gorgeous like that and this look together? Like they're displayed in the home. I guess I should have just went inside the house, and I should have just did a recording from inside where these pieces were. Hate to reach over. Oh, and these two, before I forget, the two little ones that are front and center. So antique inspired, and these are by Charles Loughton. And Charles Loughton glass has been one of my favorite more contemporary makers. And this is signed Charles Loughton. And that's dated 2010, one of his later works. And this is one of Charles's earlier works, Charles Loughton, 1989. Again, sheared and polished bottom on both of these. So you see that big facet that was sheared and then polished down. Absolutely gorgeous. And this is lava glass by Loughton. Very difficult to find, especially in ruby red and then that electric gunmetal blue. But this is made to look like Tiffany lava. So again, inspired by Tiffany lava and made, a century later. And look at this one. Look at the pulled feather design and the iridescence. And these are considered, someone say this is a toothpick. No, I'd consider both of these cabinet vases. Their only job was to ever be in a cabinet and be admired and loved. I just thought that these were just absolutely standouts. Although miniature in size, look at how they compete for space. Look how they compete for visual space against a giant Titania. Very incredible. And this one. This is by Marianne Shear, and she was an artist and a metalsmith. And this is by Marianne Shear, 1973. And this is art glass. And I did not bring out one of the... I have a very large collection of Mark Vance glass, and he's a local... you've heard me talk about Mark Vance. He's an inspiration. He's an antique dealer. He's an artist. He's a genius. He's a historian. He's a worldly person who is a dear friend of mine and has been for over 27 years in this business. And it's very strange to sometimes, with reselling, it's very competitive. It's very sometimes ugly. And I was never immune from that. And Mark has been an ally and a friend. And we reach for the same things. We reach for artistry. We reach for beauty. We reach for esoteric things that the casual consumer and the casual reseller doesn't reach for. And I think I've talked with Mark and I said, do you still work 27 hours a day like I do? And he goes, I think I'm up to 28 hours a day. So I really want to bring him on my channel. But anyways, he's an amazing, amazing man. And he is very well known. His art class is in area museums, but you'll never know that because he'll never tell you. He's unlike me. He doesn't shout his accomplishments. He's very quiet, and he's a sweet person. And Mark, if you ever watch this, thank you for being my loyal friend for so long. And this is Marianne Shear, but she's known for jewelry. I have never seen one of her art glass vessels before. I've never seen one, but look how amazing she was. Again, that nod and that look back to antique and authentically old, but contemporary. And that was a year before I was born. I was born in 74, so this is 52 years old, and still stands the test of time as a testament to artistry and to skill. And absolutely gorgeous, really incredible. And this one is Carl Radke, and I do have many more of Carl's original works. This one is, let's see here, this was dated, this is signed Carl Radke. So if you see that signature, sometimes it's very difficult to make out, but that's Carl Radke, and it's from 1998. Again, check that out for art class. So if you see that open pontil and then that sheared and polished bottom, you know that is in fact completely artisan constructed, if you couldn't tell by the surface and design of this amazing oxblood red with that iridescent finish, and then those snowy white, almost cherry blossom design. I love the kind of weepy, almost wisteria or weeping willow of that frothiness of white on the top and that electric orange lip wrap. I get lost in the color saturation of art glass, and do you see this? Are you taking that in and understanding the beauty of things like frozen in time? Check that out, how the artistry of such things and the story that they tell. One final piece of art glass before the Chanel bracelet. We'll talk about this one. Let me make sure I tell you correctly on this one. Yep, we've got another Loten from 1992, and this was titled Web. So this is a Loten, 1992, and Web, again, sheared and polished bottom, very big sign and show of quality. And look at the surface of this, of that web that's just over the whole entire surface. And what I loved about art glasses, I was very specific and I made sure that they were decorated 360 degrees. Check out the quality of that luster finish. Very, very reminiscent of some of the most electric pieces of Louis Comfort Tiffany glass. And I do have many, many other and more pieces of Tiffany glass in my collection, but I didn't want this only to be about Tiffany. I wanted it to be about almost a sampling of most of the makers that I invested in, and why, and the end result. Isn't that a stunner? Yeah, absolutely. Put that safely back there. And I guess we'll stop with this one. I guess we'll complete the video on this amazing Chanel bracelet. So this is all poured and gathered, poured in the leaves and gathered glass. And this is by Chanel. It is GRIPOIX. It is GRIPOIX glass. And look at the way that this is constructed, and this is genuine poured glass. They actually fused molten glass into that metal frame. I bought this at Hartville Flea Market many, many years ago, and it was $80. At least this is from memory again. It was $80. And we'll show you the hook here. There you go. And look at the drop is even considered on here. And this is encased glass. See, that's just not a, quote, normal glass. Look, there's white on the inside, opalescent white on the inside, and then gathered red, and then they put the little cleft in there to make these look like cherries. And check out the artistry of this bracelet. So you might ask yourself, well, why would that be important? You know, this isn't signed. And look at the flower heads. These are all poured and fused glass flower heads. See how that the glass is trapped inside of that handmade metal frame for those beautiful little flower blossoms. Well, you might not believe this, but do you know that just a few summers ago, I had this out at an exhibition. And do you know, I should ask you all and then tell you in the next video, do you know what I was offered for this? I was offered $2,200 for this, quote, costume jewelry bracelet that isn't signed, you know, that is not marked at all. But absolutely early Chanel, absolutely completely authentic, and one of the most beautiful pieces of very simple glass costume jewelry. So again, glass for the house is basically jewelry for the house. And then I always invested in glass jewelry as well. Well, I have so many more pieces of glass jewelry. If you're interested, please go over to my past video on glass jewelry. And then do me a favor, share me out with one of your friends, scream me from the rooftops, go up into the mountains and yell my name so that someone will subscribe and that I continue to get the right people here. I want to thank you so much for your time and your attention on this very small sampling of some of the art glass out of my collection. If you would like to see more or specific videos like the diamond brooch that I showed, or the Cartier ring, or the amazing Victorian banded agate, Scottish agate brooch, if you want to see more specific videos, please leave it down in the comment section below because I do read every comment. I want to thank you so much for your time and your attention. Go forth with peace and kindness, but stand up for yourself. Take good care of yourselves. I simply love you because I do.